Welcome to the land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel, and I homeschool my 3 boys at home using the Robinson curriculum as the base of our education. Today I wanted to talk to you about putting together spelling lists. Okay, so you can see I've got a couple things stacked up here. I'm going to go through these with you and show you what they are and how I use them. I just wanted to show you a couple things that I maybe haven't showed you before. Some I have and some I haven't. You know that I use the McGuffey Eclectic Spelling Book for creating my levels 1 through 6 McGuffey spelling programs. And here's one. I have my 6th graders. This is one of his books. I actually print these into, because there are 30 lessons, and I divide them into 3 little notebooks of 10 lessons each, just to make them more manageable in size. But I'll show you how it all comes together and how we use these. We can use these lists. So I use the word list from the McGuffey's Eclectic Spelling Book to create word lists for these levels. What I like about it is that this book gives a lot of diacritical marks, and it also gives me these syllables. Like this word cubit, it has a space in it where the break between the syllables is, and it also has the accent mark. So it just gives me a lot of information. Now I actually break these up. I wouldn't, just because this is a lot of words and a lot of it's just, it's just repetitive. And so I don't make the list quite so long. I break these up into like halves or so for lessons, just so the lists aren't so long, because just for the sake of time, mostly during the day, because we do spelling every day. But they're all following a specific pattern. So these are long sounds of vowels. So you can see they are focusing on the long A, a long E, a long I, a long O. And these have different reasons why they're long, right? So these are, silent E's that are making it long. This is the vowel team double E, another silent E in the end, silent E, and this is the vowel team EA. So they're kind of grouped, and they'll give you various sounds of O, various sounds of U, what they are going for, various sounds of vowels. They start mixing them up. Regular short sounds of O, so again, it's letting them practice. It's telling you how it's marked. It's marked O with the braille over it. Here's one. These ones are marked kind of with an umlaut like underneath. Anyway, so I like this study, but they're all they all have something in common. So this is great, and this is included in your Robinson curriculum. You can just print it out. That's how I started before I bought a hard copy. I started out by just printing it out, and I liked it so much that I just went and bought a hardback copy. And this was used, I want to say I paid like $6 or $4 for this, something really cheap. Another resource that is great for spelling lists is this How to Teach English Spelling, including the spelling rules and 151 spelling lists in this book. Again, it's kind of similar in that they are words containing the hard C, right? These are all the k, C sounds. List 3, some words that drop the silent E. See the CY. So they have these grouped for you. And so they start with, so they've got a list of some spelling rules right here, soft and hard C. All these spelling rules apply to soft and hard C's. So list 1 is some words containing the soft C. They've got a ton. They've got CE words, a CE at the beginning, then they've got C at the end, CI words, CY words. The thing about these is I wouldn't say that they are necessarily, I think they're easier at the top and they get more complex. If you were covering this, you could do these lists with a range of spelling levels. So you could have, the younger kids or the more beginners do these words up here. The next group could do these words. The next group could do these words. So this is a good resource for that too. Okay, so there's that one. That's a good one. I'll leave links to all these in the description so you can find them and check them out. Another thing that I picked up, because when I just really dove into spelling and trying to figure it all out, was the Spell to Write and Read. So this is like a whole, I think, language arts program. This is the teacher's manual. It's just, and I want to say this Wanda I don't know, Sansari or Sansari, Sansari or Sansari. I'm not sure how to say it. But I believe I read she was a homeschool mom herself, and she created this program. So I don't use like the whole program. My favorite parts of it are the Wise Guide for Spelling, organized spelling lessons for the Spell to Write and Read program. And again, I don't even use the whole, program. To me, this personally, you'll just see, because I'll show you how this all comes together for me and how we do spelling at the end. This would just take a little bit too much like planning and just on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, more output than I wanted to give for just spelling. Do you know what I mean? I watched some videos online of, there was a mom who did, I don't know if I can find it. I'll try to find it. If I can find it, I'll link it in the description too. But she did an example lesson and stuff. She's got spelling sections. So here comes A through C, right? So I like these ones because these ones start out with much simpler words like, top, but, and, cat. And then she's got spelling enrichments that you can do at the end. But something I really like about it is they've got the words here, and then she's got the rules that apply to it here, right? And then she'll list what her rule number is. And I believe she has a spot. She's got her rules, I think, listed. Oh, here, yeah. Here's her spelling rules. So I made my spelling rules for my program so that I could use them with this also. So that if I wanted to switch over to using her spelling lesson stuff, that my numbers would match her numbers. Okay. So anyways, this is a really cool, and then she also teaches like sign language. She's got a bunch of just extra stuff in here that she does. Anyways, this is a good program. I think I saw tutors. This is something like tutors use. Okay, then she also has, so I've mentioned the Logic of English before. Again, I've looked at their actual spelling program, and it just is way, way, way too much for me. But I did pick up this from the Spell to Write and Read from Wanda Sansari, the Alpha List. It's a dictionary focusing on the logic of English spelling. So she goes through and applies her rules and things to the spelling list, I believe, for the Logic of English. So if you liked their spelling lists and you like how she applies her rules and the explanations, I love this. And I use this, especially during our spelling boot camp time, to use words from it because it gives all the explanations. And so look at all these words. These are just a dictionary. It's just a dictionary. It's literally just a whole book of words that are used in the Logic of English in alphabetical order. So these are common words that they'll see. So starting just with A, and then ability, able, aboard, about, above, right? And it's going down to acknowledge, acquaintance. And then she has here the list of the rules that apply, spelling rules that apply to those words. So if you were going to get any of this stuff, I would definitely get this if you were going to get something from the Spell to Write and Read, I would definitely get this. It's just good to have on hand because they're such common words that people are actually going to read and write. And if you aren't sure why it's spelling a word is wrong, there's a good chance it'll be in here and that you'll be able to tell your student why, or they can look it up themselves why. So I think this is really good to have on hand for the why is that misspelled or why is it spelled that way. Like Alabama, they even give you the abbreviation AL. Alarm, they give you some derivatives. Alarm, alarming, alarmingly, alarmist. And they point you to the rule 4 that would apply to it. Anyways, I love this. I love this as a resource. For me, I think every homeschool should have this in it with your, right next to your regular dictionary and your thesaurus and that kind of good stuff, have the Alpha List in there. Okay, so you saw my favorite thing. So these are so this is actually where I start. This is my very favorite thing. I'll show you how and I looked at some other spelling programs too, and I'm not showing them because they weren't my favorites. So what I do is I took my list that I made from the McGuffey spellings. You guys have to show you this because I thought I was cute and clever when I taped in an envelope so I could put their spelling flashcards in it. And there's their spelling list, right? So we've got up to lesson 28. Let's say afflux, ambush, anthem, anals, aspects, habit, haggard, kindred, ticket, invoice, scribble, triplet, right? And this is only up to here in the spelling book, right? That's only up to here. I don't know, can you see? There's this much more of the book. So, I mean, I'm just waiting to see when my kids get through here, and I may make new lists that go past, you know? I was thinking about doing something along the lines of giving like an oral spelling test once we get through level 6, and just start going through the book, and just once they miss 10 words, and like I'll just keep going, then that's their list. Do you know what I mean? Because if they already know how to spell the other words, there's not a whole lot of point in focusing on them. But yeah, once they miss, but I chose not to do that way at the beginning, because children, they may know how to spell a word just because they've seen it, but they don't actually understand the underlying reason why, or spelling rule or pattern. So I chose to stick with the spelling words that I created from these lists, because they are grouped together to really try to solidify the underlying pattern in their mind and how it applies to words. But as I expect by going through 6 levels of this, that they have a good understanding, plus, like a spelling boot camp thrown in there, a couple times, once or twice. Then I think we could just go on to words that they misspell when I give them an oral test, and create new lists from that. And then I'd probably just reprint the level 6. I don't see how I could make a more effective or more advanced spelling program after that. Okay, so yeah, then once I have my word lists from here, right, I just have them go through their spelling workbook, and I've got like a week's worth of activities, and there's spelling, syllable division, pattern sorting, word pyramids, spelling test, like so much stuff. I've got the analyze section at the beginning. And I like doing this over and over every year. It's just always the same. With this, it was like something different, like every day. And that's just, for me, I just think that's too much mental output on planning and figuring out what the new instruction is, when I want the mental output to be put onto the spelling itself and the spelling patterns and the words. I like my simplified plan. I've got the same activities they do every day. They know what they are every week. It just repeats. As from levels 1 to 6, it's just kind of stair-stepping up. It's the same basic activity, but we're just stepping it up. I think that you could use something like this. If you have your activities that you like to do, you could use the lists, right, out of here if you just wanted the lists. The thing about her lists is they don't all follow a similar pattern. So like with these two, all the words have something in common. These ones don't, right? They're going up in kind of level and how hard the words are, but they are of disparate rules and patterns. So that's just something different, right? But you could, if you like that approach, if you want them to have some different rules and patterns, and you just have a mixed bag of rules and patterns every week, then this would be a different way to organize your spelling, or to pull your spelling lists from, right? This is kind of, these are like 2 different approaches in that way. Like I said, I kind of like both, but I like it to change over. I like to start with things that are grouped together, and then maybe once they get that underlying understanding down, then we go to a mixed bag, right? Because if I'm going through here, I'm just going through the list, they're going to be getting some of them right, some of them wrong, right? And I'm going to probably cover several lists, and so I'm going to be going over several patterns. See what I mean? But then I love having this on hand as a way to look up the words, because a lot of these words from your, other lists are probably going to be in here. Let's see. Let's try it. Let's just look at one of our spelling lists from the McGuffey. Let's say we were on lesson 30. Let's go to our hardest one probably, right? Say endurance. Anyway, what about putrid? That's a good word. Let me see if putrid is in there. I was trying to find one that looked harder to find. So Q-R-S-T-M-E. Okay, so putrid is not in here. Let's try to find endurance. Okay, here's endurance, right? So she split it. She's got endure, right? She's got the root, and she's got endurance. And she's got the spaced out where the syllable breaks are. And she's got her own kind of markings. So if you use this, you kind of have to know. So endeavor, she's saying the EA vowel team. It usually says E, so that would be 1, but she's got 2 over it, so it's saying its second sound is eh. And its third sound is A, just so you know. I saw 3 over an EA. And she's giving you some comments. Endeavored, endeavoring. It's the British spelling. Endeavor has the O-U-R, and the rule is 28. So 28 means the ED, or past tense. Endings forms another syllable. Not every single word is going to be in here, but it's nice to have on hand, I think. Again, you can get a good amount of information from the McGuffey spelling book. But now you don't get necessarily the rule, right? So as you go, so one of ours, the pattern sort is one of my weekly activities. Sort each word into spelling rule groups. Write out the spelling rules on the right side of the paper. Square any base words. Circle any affixes, right? So that's something I like. Sometimes I just like them to have to search that out themselves. My spelling program comes with these spelling rules right here in the back. Okay, I've got it marked. And the vocabulary and stuff. So they'd be studying this and they'd be figuring out what the spelling rules are that are applying to each word. So sometimes I like them to have to figure that out themselves, but it's nice if they have something they can look at and check to see if they got it right. Again, not every single word will be in here, but it's helpful that some of them are. And a lot of them they'll just be able to tell, or you'll be able to give it a double glance. But I'm trying to give them the tools as much as possible that they can do this on their own, especially as they get older. I want them to be able to work independently and just know where to look, what to figure out themselves, and where to look to check their work. So these were my picks, right? I prefer to get my spelling list from here, have the alpha list on hand to double check as many words as you can to see if they got their spelling patterns correct and stuff like that, to work through here. And I can mix the spelling pattern word lists up after level 6. Again, this also is a good one if you're wanting to teach the same rule to multiple students. Like I said before, just go down the list, right? But it doesn't tell you. You'll have to make that determination yourself of where you're going to break it up for multiple students. Wise Guides for Spelling. This one, it has multiple. I think there's a placement test, and you can place the kids into it, and you'll see what list they fall into: A, B, C, D, E, F, all that kind of stuff. And then each list is like a mixed bag of spelling patterns. Okay, did I make your head swim? So, anyways. I think these are all good options. That's what I'm saying, is they're all good options. It just depends on your personal preference or what you think would work best for your kids and what's easier. I go for simplicity and repetition. And so these are my personal picks. Okay, do you have any other spelling list tips for us? Leave me a comment. I'd love to see. It's always okay to switch. You can always switch your method. If it's not working, switch your method. It's okay. Okay, thanks everyone.